Could you show us what your day consists of to keep in shape?
Well, sure. Well, the first thing I do when I get out of bed in the morning is, of course, I jump right out of bed like that. Once I hit the floor, I try to warm up with touching my toes. That's the most important thing.
Touching your toes.
That right there is a grown man explaining his morning fitness routine to Johnny Carson. He is also supposed to be a professional athlete. We'll get to that. January 3rd, 1986, Tim Conway walks out onto the Tonight Show stage, and within about 90 seconds, Johnny Carson is already in trouble. This is one of those appearances where Carson stops being a host and just becomes a guy trying not to fall out of his chair. It starts with the Carol Burnett show. Johnny brings up the Mr. Tudball sketch, the one where Conway plays a boss with the thickest Swedish accent you've ever heard, and his secretary cannot for the life of her figure out how an intercom works.
We also had a secretary that had an intercom system that you would have to actually go out and tell her to turn it on so that she could hear us. And then you go in the office, and by that time she'd turn it off. You come back out and tell her. And that's how that whole sketch started.
The funniest part? That wasn't a joke. That was just their real office, a real secretary, a real intercom. Conway and the writers just watched it happen every day and thought, yeah, that's the sketch. Sometimes the best comedy is just pointing a camera at reality and waiting. Then Johnny asks how Conway came up with the Tudball voice. And Conway, without missing a single beat, explains that it came from a traffic stop. A traffic stop that went very, very wrong.
I didn't see the police car in back of me because of the low roof of the car, and I couldn't see the red light that was following me for some time, evidently. And he got real annoyed by the time he actually did pull me over. And he said, could I see your license? And I didn't have my license with me at the time, or my pants. But
he wasn't wearing pants, and instead of explaining, he just started talking.
One of those
evenings, you know, you just forget everything. Here you are. And I didn't want to go out and walk around like that, of course. So I just started talking to him like that, and I said, sorry that I did not see your light there, but according to the back window here, it was too low there, and I talked for a half an hour like that. And he finally said, just go ahead. And
he talked his way out of a traffic stop for 30 minutes, without pants, in a Swedish accent. And it worked. The cop didn't write a ticket, the cop didn't arrest him. The cop just gave up and let a pantsless man drive away into the night because it was easier than dealing with whatever was happening in that car. Johnny then asks about Tim's marriage, which it turns out is also not a normal situation.
Tell me, you were just recently married last time you heard. It's been a year now.
Almost a year, yeah. A little more than a year, actually, now that I recall. Yeah, very well.
Still honeymoon time?
Not quite. No, that was over in about an hour. Yeah. Well, as I told you, that a lot of people did suspect that I did marry this time for money, but that is, of course, well known. And she will be 90 next month, which is very nice. Really. And of course, at that age, she's very heavily insured, as you know.
Naturally.
Yeah. So we're doing very well.
A little cold can really set it all.
Yeah. Well, she's out hang gliding tonight, so couldn't make the show here, of course.
The honeymoon was over in an hour. His wife is 90. She is hang gliding as we speak, and he says all of this with the calm energy of a man reading a grocery list. No punchline face, no wink at the camera, just facts, which is exactly why it destroys the room every single time. And the honeymoon itself, not Paris, not Hawaii.
Where did you go on your honeymoon? Did you?
I went to the racetrack on my honeymoon. Actually, yeah. A judge married us who's also fond of horses, and he did a lot of we got to get going here, and whizzed it up, and he actually went to the track with us. Yeah, it was nice.
The judge who married them liked horses so much he just came with them to the racetrack on their honeymoon. Nobody thought this was unusual enough to stop. Which leads into the horse ownership conversation, and this is where the numbers get genuinely painful.
Yeah, well, I have a whole horse. He just has a quarter. What quarter do you have? No, yes, the whole thing out a minute.
Do you race your horses? Yes, and I can beat them.
When they're yes, right. When they are running, I race them. They have a lot of ailments that do slow them down periodically. So, as a matter of fact, now we have 3 horses that are being bred. Yeah, they were horses on us for 2 years, so we figured.
But this is next.
Yeah. No, what we.
But this costs a lot of money, doesn't it?
Yes,
This is
it
an
does.
expensive
It
hobby.
costs an awful lot of money, but they win. When they win a lot of money.
Now, what is the biggest purse your horse is?
$11 so far.
6 horses, $3,000 a month, 1 win, $11 in total career earnings. Tim Conway is running a horse racing operation the way most people run a sandwich into a wall, and he is describing this financial catastrophe with the satisfaction of a man who just built a bookshelf. Then Conway goes somewhere unexpected. He starts explaining the science of why horses spook, and somehow even this becomes a bit.
Because their eyes are set so far back in their head that if something comes across, even a leaf or something, their eyes pick it up at different moments. They don't see it simultaneously, and they get spooked easily, right?
Yeah, their eyes go in different directions, and also they can't see. They've never seen their feet. They can't see straight down, and also they can't see 3 feet in front of them.
Is there any reason for them to see their feet?
Not really. No.
A horse has never seen its own feet, not once in its entire life. Carson finds this information deeply funny for reasons neither of them can fully explain, and honestly, fair enough. Then comes the Disney story, and if you think the pantsless traffic stop was the peak of this interview, you are not ready for what happens next.
I was in the front seat with John Amos, and the lion was in the back seat, and it was about 110 in there with the lights, and they had the lion dressed with a raincoat, a scarf, and a pork pie hat, and he was not happy. I can't understand why, and they put the seat belt around him to hold him there, and he took the seat belt, just went like this, and yanked it out. So they said, while we were filming, they said, you and John look very nervous. I said, really? I'm sitting here with 300 pounds of Bengal tiger in the back, and then the trainer said, he seems a little upset today. I said, really? I said, well, it's probably because in National Geographic you don't see too many of them with a raincoat, a scarf, and that.
The lion yanked the seatbelt clean out of the seat with one paw because it was wearing a pork pie hat and had decided it was done. And Conway's response to sitting next to a furious 300-pound lion dressed like a jazz musician is to just keep talking. That is the Tim Conway move. Chaos arrives and he narrates it like a nature documentary.
He was trained to attack you when you move. And you'll notice in the picture, there's a scene where John Amos is on the phone. He said, we've got to get to the airport right away. And John got up and he started to run for the door, and the tiger grabbed him and attacked him.
Every take, the lion attacked him. Every single one. Not because the lion was out of control, because the lion was doing exactly what it was trained to do, which means someone, somewhere, decided this was a reasonable plan for a Disney movie and just kept going with it.
And the guy said, well, I can't help it. Every time you move fast, he's going to attack you. So in the movie, if you watch very closely, John Amos is on the phone. He says, yes, we've got to get to the airport. All right, let's go. Come on.
And then, just when you think this interview can't get any stranger, Johnny announces they have a special guest, a world-famous jockey, one of the greatest in the sport. His name is Lyle Dorff, and he does not exist.
It's Lyle. It's a great pleasure to have you with us tonight.
Well, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure for me to be here, too. I wish I could express that like you do, but it's your show. I'm sure that you could do that a lot better than I do.
Now, Lyle, I don't mean to be critical, but aren't you a little heavy for a jockey? How much do you weigh?
I go about 145 pounds. Yeah, that is. Matter of fact, I won't be able to stay here and talk too long. I have to get right back to the sweat box there, yes.
I see.
We're talking major perspiration
I
here.
suppose so, yes. Now, how do you weigh in with all that weight?
Well, I step on the scale very lightly, just to put maybe 1 foot on at a time. You can't get on there full force. That the thing would go zingo on me. You know what I mean?
145 pounds. He weighs himself 1 foot at a time. He has a sweat box. He is completely committed to this character, and Carson is already starting to crack, which is exactly what Conway is here for.
See, I take my horse to the outside like this.
Why do you do that?
Well, it's a lot longer that way, but it's sure a lot safer.
Oh, I see. Now, speaking of safety, that's a big factor. Do you take any precautions for a safer ride?
That I do, yes, sir. See, I was falling off an awful lot, so what I do now is tie myself to the horse.
Actually tie yourself?
Right, yes. Only last week I had an unfortunate accident.
Oh.
You see, I tied the one leg to the horse and the other to the starting gate, and I didn't know that until actually they took off. Right on.
What did you do?
I yelled, whoa, a lot.
I see.
He tied himself to the horse and the starting gate simultaneously, and only found out when the race started, and his solution was to yell "whoa" at a horse that was already gone. That's the full plan. That's it.
Lyle, tell us, what do you think is the most important factor in the relationship between horse and jockey?
I would have to say.
Relationship between the horse.
I would say.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to get to know your horse.
Get to know your horse.
Absolutely.
How do you do that?
I take him out for a little coffee, sandwich, or something like that. Get into the good here. Very nice. Yeah, it's awfully hard to find a seat on the
I
bus, though, with
suppose
a guy
so.
like that.
An
Yeah.
animal that size. I noticed now you're carrying a whip.
That's right.
Do you use a whip?
No, I don't. Never do. No, I tell you, I hit the horse once and whammo, he took off like a shot. I don't do that anymore.
The pause before that answer is maybe 15 seconds of Conway just staring at Johnny, not smiling, not breaking, just existing, and the audience completely loses it before he says a single word. That's the Conway genius right there. The joke wasn't the answer. The joke was the wait.
Dude,
Could you show us what your day consists of to keep in shape?
Well, sure. Well, the first thing I do when I get out of bed in the morning is first I jump right out of bed like that. Once I hit that the floor, I try to warm up with touching my toes. That's the most important. Touching your toes.
Touching his toast. That's the warm-up. Not stretching, not jogging. Toast. And he demonstrates it with the absolute seriousness of an Olympic athlete explaining a training regimen, while Carson folds completely in half behind the desk. That's what Tim Conway did every time he walked onto this stage. He didn't just tell jokes. He built entire worlds out of nothing. A traffic stop, a racetrack, a lion in a hat, a jockey who takes his horse for coffee. And he stayed in those worlds so completely that even Johnny Carson, one of the coolest men in television history, couldn't hold it together. Which bit got you? The lion, the pants, touching the toast? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more nights like this one, hit subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from.